Chapter 3. The Map Beneath the Ice. Elle found an old cot and some blankets in a cupboard. It wasn't as cold as she had been on the first floor. As she tried to drift off with her mind racing, it wasn't sleep that came to Elle that night, but a kind of stillness, a conscious surrender. Somewhere between exhaustion and trance, her mind floated, and that's when he arrived in memory. The vault's central console flickered with a soft pulse and displayed a recording, a message stored in analog quartz, encoded in Tesla's own voice. The vibration itself was the key. It was sound suspended in air. If you are hearing this, my daughter, then you have survived the great filter. Tesla's voice was quiet and unsteady. He was not the dramatic showman from television, but a man alone in the dark, speaking to a future he couldn't touch. The earth is not dying but waking. The quakes are its breath. The storms, its immune response. We humans have been bacteria on the skin, some symbiotic, others parasitic. I had hoped I could create harmony. I failed, but you, Elle, you were born in pain to finish the work. You will find them. They're scattered across the globe, just as the ancients scattered harmonic nodes into stone and star. Children will hear the hum first. They always do. You must teach them to listen. Before the earth decides it is better off alone. The sound faded and Elle's eyes welled. He wasn't a myth anymore. He was a father, and he had left her a mission only pain could prepare her to fulfill. The next morning, she notified her siblings who volunteered at Elle Academies. Ian, Boyden, Tara, and Max were all at Arizona Dome 01. Elle needed to show them what she had found in Colorado Springs. As soon as she got them on the video conference, the console over her shoulder said, "Initiating sync to Dome 01. Likewise, Dome 01's central dais said, "Sync in progress, Dome 0 found." All the siblings were slack-jawed and struck dumb with silence. Elle's eyes shifted rapidly as she had not touched anything, yet the vault responded again, displaying the words. Echo detected. Carrier 002, confirmed. Age, 9. Location, Kyoto, Japan. A map unfurled around her, highlighting a path of resonance, nodes forming across the planet like constellations stitching themselves together. This wasn't just a vault, it was a planetary switchboard, and children were starting to hear it. Elle said, "I guess it's synced." Tara said, "We saw that message right before you called. We assumed you confirmed it." Elle said, "It came in on my tablet, and yes, I confirmed it." I was surprised there is service down here, as she showed them the interior of the stone laboratory. The vials were the last area she showed them. Max said, "I need to see the technology keeping that ancient thing running and off the grid. Please take a lot of photos." She let them know she would be heading home in a few hours, so she should be back in Arizona in 2 days. "I want to beat the snowstorm, but I have to visit someone first." The cabin with red shutters return visit. Snow had started again by the time Elle turned the car back toward the cabin. The storm was coming down from the peaks in slow sheets, the kind that erased roads without urgency. She drove with the window cracked, letting the cold keep her sharp. The cabin looked the same as it had days earlier. Red shutters. Smoke from the chimney. A place that had learned how not to draw attention. The old man was splitting wood when she pulled up. He stopped when he saw her, resting both hands on the axe handle, studying her the way someone studies an architecture change they'd been expecting to undertake. "So," he said, "you found it." Elle nodded. "I did." He didn't ask what it was. He just set the axe aside and motioned toward the porch. "Then we should probably talk." Inside, the cabin was warm. The updates were subtle, new wiring hidden behind old walls, reinforced beams, insulation that hadn't existed when the place was built. The man poured coffee and finally sat across from her. "I didn't tell you everything before," he said. "Didn't seem like my place." "I figured," Elle replied. He exhaled, long and careful. "I was 10 when she brought me here. It was me and my mother. 1933, worst year you could imagine. My father had died the winter before. Water turbine project downriver. They were trying to make electricity behave like something gentle. It wasn't." Elle stayed quiet. An old man, probably the age I am now, 76, came with the papers. Not American, but not unfriendly either. He spoke with an accent. The man reached beneath the table and pulled out a thin oilcloth-wrapped bundle. Inside was the note, written with the same controlled precision. "He gave me the key that day," the man said. "Told me I'd understand later. Said it wasn't for me. Said it was for a girl who wouldn't be born for a very long time." Elle felt the words land, one by one. "He said the year," the man continued. 2025, told me I wouldn't like how old I'd be when she came back." He smiled faintly. He wasn't wrong. The man tapped the note with one finger. This land was already paid for in a lump sum from Westinghouse himself. Elle looked up. In lieu of the royalties he was owed for AC horsepower, he said. Company couldn't carry the contract anymore. The inventor didn't want the money anyway. He wanted ground. Distance. Time. He gestured vaguely toward the mountain. The cabin came with conditions. We could live here as long as we treated it like it was ours. Fix it. Improve it. Pay the taxes. No questions asked. In return, I was given one job. The structure, Elle said, pointing toward the mountain top. He nodded. A half-mile up the mountain, I was told never to enter it and never to let anyone else do it either. If people asked, I was to make it boring. And the sign, Elle said. He smiled, almost apologetically. Property of the US government scares off just about everyone. It wasn't true, but it didn't have to be. He slid the note across the table. Elle read it slowly. You will be a steward, not a guardian. Do not open what was sealed. Do not explain what does not yet have language. When the girl comes in 2025, you will already know her. Give her what you were given. The rest will no longer be your concern, and you can finally relax in your old skin. Elle folded the note carefully and handed it back. Did you ever wonder what was inside? She asked. All the time, he said. But wondering was part of the job. He looked at her then, really looked. When you came the first time, I knew the waiting was done. You had that look. Like someone who'd finally found the weight they'd been carrying. Outside, the wind moved through the trees. I think, he said quietly, that whatever he built up there wasn't meant to be protected from thieves. Elle nodded. It was meant to be protected from being used too soon, thus your arrival in 2025. The old man leaned back, the tension leaving his shoulders for the first time. Well, he said, then I suppose I can stop watching the mountain. Elle stood, pulling on her coat. Thank you, she said, for keeping it quiet. He smiled. Silence is underrated, he said, but dangerous if you hold it too long. Elle paused at the door. He said that too, she said softly. The man nodded once, satisfied. As she drove away, the cabin receded into the trees, just another old place with red shutters exactly as it had always been meant to appear. For the first time in nearly a century, no one was listening for footsteps at the gate.